I am at the Montgomery Golf Course at the Max Royale Resort in Turkey, and I want to share with you what I believe is the best golf lesson I've ever had. I was about 16 years old. I went for a golf lesson with a local professional, and to this day, it was the best golf lesson I've ever had. I still use it today. I've used it with so many golfers. I want to share it with you because it changed completely the way I looked and thought about the golf swing and unlocked for me some much better golf. I know that it can do the same for you. So what was this lesson? Well, I actually went to the pro and I was trying to draw the golf ball. Like many golfers, I was struggling with a left to right shot. It was fading, it was slicing. I was trying to draw the golf ball, and I was explaining this to him, and he kind of said, well, what are your swing thoughts? What are your ideas? And I just basically said, well, I'm trying to swing the club down and out over onto the kind of right-hand side of the golf course because I was under the impression that that would give me a draw. It wasn't. We'll explain why. And this really comes down to some basic concepts about the golf swing. And I want you to go through two drills. These are really simple, and I want you to do these, and it's going to kind of tie in as we go through this video. I was told in this golf lesson, and it still rings true today, there are no straight lines in the golf swing. So true. And I was trying to swing the club out to the right. And what I was taught in this lesson was that the golf club is always working on an arc, and the club face is always opening and closing, and we have to accept that. We can't sort of fight against that. I was fighting against that, and you might well be doing the same. So why was this pretty detrimental to me? Well, if I just stood up here and just put the golf club into my belly button here, I'm just going to place my left hand onto the golf club shaft. As I rotate my body back and through, just have a look at what the club head does. It moves kind of back to the inside, and on the way through it moves back to the inside. This is the arc that the golf club is moving on. So if I was trying to get the golf club to travel in this direction, so let's say out to kind of 1 or 2 o'clock on a clock face if the target was 12, what I was actually doing was stopping my rotation, because my rotation was moving the club on the inside and I was trying to swing the club out to there. So I was actually, through the golf ball, stopping my rotation. I was trying to swing the club out to the right this way. I was getting really stuck and my hands were flipping over and I was getting these all weird and wonderful kind of looks, and the shots I was hitting were actually kind of right to left, but they were big snap hooks and I just really couldn't control it. So these are the two drills he gave me. The first one was called a meet and greet drill. I was told that the club face should never point at the target for the whole golf swing. Really, really key. We just showed here how it opens and closes. So many golfers are trying to keep the club face square to the target through the whole swing. Makes sense, right? We want to hit the ball straight. It would make sense if we start with the club face straight and it remains straight. Doesn't work. Here's the drill that he gave me. Now I call this the meet and greet drill. I want you to take a setup. I want you to imagine you've got a golf club and just open up your right palm, hand goes behind your back. Okay, and I want you to imagine that there is somebody on your trail side and somebody on your lead side, and you've got to shake their hands. Okay, called the meet and greet drill. You're going to meet and you're going to greet. So how would I do that if I couldn't really move my hand independently? Well, look where my palm faces, and if there was someone on this side, I would rotate and I could shake their hand. Okay, notice how my body is rotated. Notice where my palm faces. It does not face the target like it did at address. On the through swing, again, I can't really move my hand or arm independently. I rotate through and I shake hands with the person on this side. So my palm starts facing at my target, which is that 100 board, but it rotates this way and it rotates this way. There is only one part of that movement where my palm is facing the target, and that's the setup and hopefully the impact. Okay, let me show you what the progression to that was. He asked me to take a setup and he asked me to place my hands on the club and open up my right palm. And from here, he asked me to meet and greet. Now this felt incredibly strange to me, but what we should see is that provided I can sort of time it correctly, guess where the ball goes? Pretty straight, not very far, but pretty straight. So my hand is going from target, not the target, back to the target, and then back inside. There is an arc to this club face. This club face is opening and closing. I was trying to fight against that and it wasn't really doing me any good. So that is the first little exercise to do. It's called the meet and greet drill. I love it. It's really simple and it's just going to give you a really good, clear understanding of what that club face should be doing through the golf ball. So we go back, meet, greet, and you can see that ball is going nice and straight. And I would feel pretty comfortable that I could do that every single time. Next little exercise. Now I'm going to bring in my alignment sticks for this, and I'm just going to set these up. Notice where the club head starts, it's behind the golf ball. But as I do that little exercise, the kind of meet and greet drill, notice how my club pretty much matches there. Not quite, but pretty parallel. And on the way through, again, it matches here pretty much parallel. I know my body's probably slightly in the way there, but my golf club is pretty much matching these alignment sticks. Why is it doing that? Because my body's controlling the motion. Now, what was I doing? I wasn't allowing my body control the motion. I was trying to swing the club out this way. That was never the right way to do it, and I was trying to force the club down there. So the second part of this was understanding that the club head itself works on this arc. It's arcing back and it's arcing through. We just have to make sure that we collect the ball at the right part of that arc. So if I do that little exercise again, palm is open, we go meet, match, greet, match. Okay, that wasn't the best strike, which is why it's gone a bit to the right, but you can see my end position. So I'm just starting to learn that the golf club is moving around my body on an arc, the club face is opening and closing, but that's how we play golf, and that's one of the reasons why this game is difficult, okay, because we can't take the club straight back and straight through. We can't keep the club pointing at the target for the whole golf swing. We have to let it arc back and arc through. And I've seen so many golfers over my years, and I'm going to put myself in this category as well, who've done things like try to take the club straight back from the ball, or in my case, try and swing the club out to the right-hand side, or try and swing the club down towards the target line. All of these movements are working against the natural movement of the golf swing. Now, there's one really kind of key sort of part here that we have to address. It kind of knits everything together, and it might explain why some of your shots do go offline. We said right at the start that the golf club was opening and closing and rotating around me, my body. Okay, this is what I call the center of the golf swing, your body. Watch what happens if I do that little kind of meet and greet drill, but you'll see from face on that I'm not going to have the best body movement. Where did the ball go? Off to the left. The club was still working around my body, but my body didn't function particularly well. So yes, the club has got to move around your body well, but that's not the only thing it's got to do. We've got to get your body moving well as well. And this was really the final part of my lesson, because he got me to move the club around my body better, but then my body needed a little bit of work. Because I was trying to swing out to the right, I wasn't really using this correctly. So let's go ahead and see if we can put that in. The key thing with your body movements is you have to be going weight onto your lead side and rotate through to the finish. That's key. So many of you will be rotating on your back foot, which opens your body and means that everything gets dragged off to the left. So let me show that little exercise again. And this time I'm going to move through to a slightly more fuller finish. Meet, greet. That was a shank, we'll do that one again. Okay, so we'll go through to a little bit more of a fuller finish. And you can see now that we get the ball going nice and straight. Notice where my palm faces, my club is matched here, my body's facing the target. So the body is now allowing the club to work around beautifully. Such an important lesson, and it sounds quite simple and quite basic, and you might be there thinking this is for those newer golfers or the beginners. It's not, it's for every golfer, because if you look at your golf swing and really think about what you're trying to do, you might be making some mistakes like I was. Fix those and you can start to play some better golf.